friends, welcome to my channel. Today we are discussing with the topic growth and development, meaning, stages and principles of development. The aim of education is to bring desirable changes in the learner. The changes are taking place due to growth and development. Since the task of a teacher is to bring desirable changes in the child. Let's move on to the first topic, growth, meaning and definition. Growth is a sign of life. Growth means increase in size, height and weight. It implies growth of heart, brain, muscles and body in general. Growth is a physical change which can be measured by size and shape of a person organ. Next, the two definitions of growth are: first definition is given by Harlock. Harlock has defined growth as change in size in proportion disappearances of old features and acquisition of new ones. Second definition, in the words of Crow and Crow, growth refers to structural and psychological changes. Next, the characteristics of growth. First point, growth proceeds more rapidly in the early years of life. The rate of growth is not uniform in the life of an individual. Growth refers to an increase in size, length, height and weight. It refers to changes that can be quantified and measured in absolute time. That means growth is a physical change which can be measured by size and shape of a person organ. For example, growth of hand and leg, weight of a person. Height should be measured in centimeter and weight is monitored by the kilogram. That means it is quantifiable. Next point is, it does not continue throughout life. It stops after maturity. These are the characteristics of growth. Next we move on to the next topic, development. Development, meaning and definition. Development refers to changes in an organism as a whole. Development refers to overall changes resulting in improved functioning of the individual. Development is a continuous process through which physical, emotional and intellectual changes occur. Development is possible without growth. Next, the definition of development. The first definition is given by Harlock. According to Harlock, the development is a progressive series of changes that occur in an orderly, predictable pattern as a result of maturation and experiences. Second definition by Liebert considers development as a process of changes in growth and capacity over time as a function of both maturation and interaction with the environment. Next, the characteristics of development. First point, it refers to overall changes in an organism. It continues throughout life. In the case of growth, it does not continue through life, it stops after maturity, but in the case of development, it continues throughout life. Next point is, it brings quantitative changes which are difficult to be measured directly. It is determined by both heredity and environment. And development is also possible without growth. Next, what are the stages of growth and development? There are mainly 5 stages included in the lifespan of an individual. The 5 stages are prenatal phase, infancy, childhood, adolescence, and adulthood. Prenatal stage from conception to birth, and the second stage is infancy, and this period is from birth to 3 years. Childhood from birth 3 to 12 years. Childhood are mainly divided into two categories: early childhood and later childhood. Early childhood from 3 to 6 years and later childhood from 6 to 12 years. Next, the important stage is adolescence. Adolescence is a period from 12 to 19 years. There are early adolescence and later adolescence. Early adolescence from 12 to 15 years and later adolescence from 15 to 19 years. And the last stage is adulthood. The period is beyond 19 years. These are the 5 important stages of growth and development. The first stage is prenatal phase stage, that is from conception to birth. It is a time between conception and birth. That means a baby develops inside a mother's womb. This prenatal stage includes 3 main stages. First stage is germinal stage, that is from first 2 weeks after conception. The second stage is embryonic stage, that is 3rd through 8 weeks. The third stage is fetal stage, time from the 9 weeks until birth. This is prenatal stage, that is from conception to birth. The second stage is infancy. The period is from birth to 3 years. In this stage, baby doubles in length and triples in weight. In infancy period, baby starts smiling, paying attention to other people and grabbing toys. In infancy period, baby learn to creep, crawl and stand and to sit. Child sense organs are not well developed. By the age of 1, child may learn few words by imitation. The infant cries, so it is the evidence that he has emotions in him. Sometimes there is unpleasant responses can be seen sometimes. At the time of birth, his behavior is not social at all. In infancy period, his behavior is not social at all. He is self-centered about his physical needs and mostly depends on their parents. These are the characteristics of infancy period, that is from birth to 3 years. The next stage is childhood. We know childhood includes 2 main stages: early childhood and later childhood. Early childhood is also known as preschool stage, that's from birth from 3 to 6 years. This stage is also known as problem age, toy age and preschool age. In early childhood, children observe their elder, cartoon characters and other people whom they interact and imitate their behavior. Children became aware of their bodies and learn their sexual identities as male or female. In early childhood, child seeks social approval of his action. Child develop new interpersonal and sex-appropriate relationship with others. In early childhood, emotions appear more frequently and more intensely. In this period, emotions are temporary. The child shifts his emotion very rapidly. In early childhood, children fails to hide their emotions but express them indirectly through different activities like crying, nail biting, thumb sucking, etc. The next stage is later childhood. This is also known as primary school stage. This period is from 6 to 12 years. It is the time when the individual became sexually mature. This period is also known as troublesome age or sloppy age. In later childhood, peer groups became more important agents of socialization. Boys and girls make individual groups because their interests and habits became differentiated. The child gradually learned to control his emotions and expressions in a social situation. And the next important stage is adolescence. This stage is also known as secondary school stage. The period is from 12 to 19 years. In adolescence, boys and girls move from childhood to adulthood, mentally, emotionally, socially, and physically. Stanley Holtz called this is the period of great stress and strain, storm and strife. An adolescent is also a hero worshipper, and he shows an interest in physical attractiveness and good grooming. In this period, there is also a tendency to revolt against authority and peer groups. Relationship is too much in adolescence, physical growth reaches its peak and body takes its final shape. Adolescents are not consistent in their emotional expressions. Their emotions are fluctuate very frequently and quickly. There is a feeling of social responsibility developed, and they are highly critical of social evils and injustice. Adolescent became self-conscious of his place in the society. The next important stages of a human life is the last stage is adulthood, that is beyond 19 years. In adulthood phase, they are mainly focused on growth, career growth, and look forward for some options that are stable in his life and making appropriate settlement and lead a family life with their children. An adult is a person who is responsibly mature, self-supporting, and well integrated into the society. In this phase, he starts making decisions based upon their thinking. These are the 5 main stages of a human life, that is prenatal phase, infancy, childhood, adolescence, and adulthood. These are the 5 important stages of growth and development. Next, we move on to the next topic, that is the principles of development. There are 10 major principles included in the development. The first principle is development is a product of interaction between heredity and environment. Second, development is a product of interaction between maturation and learning. Third principle is development is continuous and gradual. Fourth, development follows an orderly sequence. Fifth principle is development is cumulative and positive process. Number 6, development is an individualized process. Seventh principle is development proceeds from general to specific. Eighth point, different aspects of development are interrelated. Ninth principle, development is predictable. And the last principle is development is spiral and not linear. These are the 10 principles of development. Next, what is the role of a teacher in facilitating the growth and development? We know children spend more their time in schools. A teacher or the school has a major role in facilitating the overall development of a children once they enrolled in the school. A teacher should maintain relationship with the students and solve their problems in their life situations. Teacher should give them practical information concerning physical growth, personal hygiene, food habits, etc. The all-round and healthy development of children is exceedingly depends upon healthy physical growth. Children who have a feeling that they are physically fit are favorably affected by this internal picturing of themselves. On the other hand, children suffering from a feeling that there is something wrong somewhere in their bodies may create lower confidence. A teacher should therefore make efforts to promote a sense of well-being in the children by developing an interest among them in the physical cultural programs of the school, and it will create a positive and healthy feelings in children regarding their physical growth. We know development is a continuous process. So, the teacher should take continuous effort to achieve perfections in the various aspects of development of a child. Development follows an orderly sequence. This knowledge helps the teacher to plan learning process and arrange suitable learning experiences so as to achieve maximum gains in terms of growth and development. We know there is individual differences. Based upon their individual differences, a teacher can make appropriate learning situations. The principle of interaction between heredity and environment reminds the teacher to arrange for the best environmental settings and experiences for the children, so that they can develop maximum within the limits of their genetic makeup. The principles of growth and development helps the teacher to mobilize for all-round development of the child rather than development of a particular aspect. That is, the teacher should make a great role in the growth and development of a children. Thank you.